Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how we can create this image into a woven image. So let's get started. And the first thing that we are going to do is go to edit menu and go to preferences and then go to guides, grid and layouts, and here I have set it to 200 pixels according to the resolution and PPI of this image, and you can set to any value depending on your own requirements. Then you will go to view and new guide layout, and here you will see I have already 18 by 12 selected, so you can select any number of columns and any number of rows. It all depends on you and your requirements. So I've selected 30 and 20. It will look even better. So let's zoom out a little bit, press Ctrl and minus together, and then go to your Marquee Tool and make sure go to view and see that the snap is activated, and you can snap to guides and all these are activated. So select the first 3 rows and then leave one, and make sure you have selected to add to the selection, and then go here, make another selection, go here, make another selection, and keep doing that till you reach the end of the image. So here we are. And if you want to select 3 rows and leave one, make sure the number you have selected for the grid layout, it should be a multiple of 4. And if you want to do the same in the columns, so the column number should also be a multiple of 4. So we have selected this. Let's create a copy by pressing Ctrl and J, and now it only has these guys. So let's turn off this lock sign so that we can use this layer, and press Ctrl and J together for 2 times to create 2 copies of these layers. And let's just make sure that we are turning this layer off, and create one new layer just above it and fill it with black by pressing Alt and backspace. Since your foreground color is black, so it will fill this one with black color. So now we are going to do one thing, that we are going to control and click on this layer that we created from the selection, and then come to layer 0 copy, which is our first layer just above our black layer, and then hit the masking, and here you can see we have masked these areas, and wherever is the black color it will not show. So here we are, and let's just delete this layer 1, and let's do the same for the columns, and go to this layer 0 copy 2, and you have your selection, you have the layer selected, and let's leave the first column and start with the second, and just continue the same fashion we did for the rows. And the more rows and more columns you have, it will look better. And make sure the image you are using is quite light. The reason is that we are going to use black as a background color, so it will give it more contrast if the color and if the image is quite bright. If the image is dark, then you will not be able to separate the background from the background from the foreground. So here we are, we have 2 columns left here, so we will delete one of the columns here, and I will show you how we can do that. And first let's just create a layer mask, and it is only these columns. So you can already see, okay, we can see some areas where both of these columns and layers coincide, and these will not show, and the background is visible on those areas. So we have two columns here which we can remove to one, and let's just go into our here and let's take it back to original. And in fact, let's go to Marquee Tool, so it will be a better tool, and select all this and go to image and crop the image. So here you are, you have only one column which has the black. So press Ctrl and D to deselect this. Now what you have to do is to make sure that you can select some areas in between these background so that you can create that woven look. So let's go to this layer, layer 0 copy, press Ctrl and click on the layer mask. So it will select all the rows which were there as a selection, and then let's hit Ctrl Alt and Shift together and click here. So it will subtract the overlapping areas, and now we have all these different kind of squares which are selected. So let's go to view and turn off these guides and clear guides, so everything is cleared. So you can see now we have these different boxes selected, which will serve as our main which will serve as our interwoven. It will give that look. So let's select this subtract from selection and just select the alternative squares, and here you go. There is another way of doing it, and that is through quick selection. I find this way better, and this way is easier, and you can see as well that we are making progress. So you have to make selection on the alternative squares so that just like a basket, it will give you that effect. So let me just finish it quickly. Here you go. Just make sure everything is fine and do press Ctrl and J together to make a copy. And make sure you have selected this layer 0 copy. Let's hit Ctrl and J, and you can see by Alt and left clicking on the mouse, you can see okay, these are the areas selected now. So now what we have to do, we have to make selection of the other squares which we deselected now. So let's just press on those. Use the previous method to select all the squares by pressing Ctrl and clicking on this layer mask, and then pressing Ctrl Alt and Shift and clicking on this one. Now we have all these squares selected. If we have to separate the squares which we already have copied, let's press Ctrl and Alt together and hit on the other. So now we have the other squares selected, and let's hit on layer 0 copy 2 and press Ctrl and J. Now you can see okay, these are the other squares which have been selected. And one more thing you have to make sure that the eyes are on the same layer like what we have here. So eyes should be part of the same row of your selection. So this is what we have here, almost both the eyes are visible. So let's just press Alt and here. Once you have these two layers, layer 3 and layer 4, now you have to clip these two layers to their respective layers underneath. So press Alt and go to this layer, layer 3, and when you see this arrow, just click the left mouse. Same goes for layer 4, just press Alt on the keyboard, and when you see this arrow, just click the mouse. So now what we are going to do, we are going to add some glow to these two layers, and that we can do through right clicking on the layer and go to blending options. And once you go to blending options, go to outer glow down here and select blend mode multiply, and then opacity you can keep it to around 45% or somewhere there, and make sure your spread is 0, and size you can use according to your requirements. So I have this preview on. You can turn this preview on and see what happens, but just keep it somewhere around 100 in our case, and it depends on what is the resolution of your photo. Hit OK, and then do the same for the other layer. Just go to press Alt and go to FX and just drag it and leave it on here. Now just click on the effects and show all effects, because I think in my case the effects are not showing. So just click here and you will see everything has came into a proper perspective. So here you have it. Now you can apply any filters onto that, and I like to filters. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to press Ctrl Alt Shift and E together to merge everything here which is visible. Go to filters, filter gallery, and you can do some experimentation. After some experimentation, I found out that sprayed strokes is something which looks so good on these, and this is another one I like. So either texturize or sprayed strokes, whichever you like. You can just hit OK, and here you have it. This is your image. Thank you very much for watching, and do subscribe to my channel and share my videos with others who want to learn.